Baltimore's baby bonus won't appear on the ballot after it was ruled unconstitutional by Maryland's Supreme Court. Now, I have a little bit of a rant that I want to go on at the end of this video, but before we get into all of that, let me first explain exactly what was happening here with this story. So I saw this reported by CBS News, said a ballot proposal that would pay new Baltimore City parents about $1,000 has been ruled unconstitutional by Maryland Supreme Court. So this was supposed to be kind of like a ballot initiative that was going to be appearing on the citywide ballots in the city of Baltimore, Maryland. It now will not appear on the ballot in November. In the article by CBS, it goes on to state that the baby bonus program wanted the city to provide a one-time $1,000 payment to new parents, whether through adoption or birth, in order to provide children and families with needed resources. The campaign collected more than 10,000 signatures required to put the baby bonus on the ballot. Now, one thing I will say really quickly here is I'm actually a huge fan of what you're kind of like referring to here as like direct democracy, where you can take an issue and put it directly on the ballot to allow people to vote on it. The one continuing thread that I've been seeing through covering politics over the years is that for the most part, our legislatures around the country, whether it's the federal level, the state level, the local levels, they consistently drag their feet getting damn near anything done, it feels like, unless they're trying to roll back rights. So I'm always a really big fan of whenever ballot initiatives are able to make it onto a ballot so that the people can actually vote on things that matter to us. But let's get back to the story here. Organizers of the campaign estimated that the program would cost the city $7 million per year. That's it, just $7 million a year. When you think about how much money government's spending, especially a major city like Baltimore, that's absolutely nothing, all things considered. The city opposed the initiative, saying it violates state and local laws by circumventing legislators. Oh no. And that the city did not have the funds to sustain such payments. That's bullshit. Let's be honest here. Okay, so the Baltimore mayor's office said that, quote, today's decision was the right one. While we said from the beginning that we align with the goal of providing more Baltimore residents with access to guaranteed income, this proposal was not legally sound and should not have been on the ballot. We're grateful for this Maryland Supreme Court agreed. It is our sincere hope that everyone supportive of this effort joins in advocating for more guaranteed income program. Here's the kicker, particularly at the national level, because he knows damn well that we're never going to see something like this at the national level, which is a great scapegoating thing that you can say in that moment because you know you don't want to do it yourself. Kick it up to the federal level where nothing ever gets done. Literally nothing gets done. And then you kind of have your out saying that you supported it, but you didn't have to do anything about it. It's like a common win-win for any kind of like skis ball politician. So seeing this really just caught me off guard with how kind of gross it is. One thing I want to note here is that the budget for the city of Baltimore, the annual budget is 4.4 billion. 4.4 billion. They said that this program would be costing the city a total of $7 million. These aren't even recurring payments, mind you. These are one-time payments. One-time payments. This is also the same city. Baltimore Police Department has a 595 annual budget for the police that they have recently increased that budget by 15%. So in a city that's not known for having great outcomes when it comes to the crime rate, went and increased the police presence there. Again, not seeing any kind of like results from increasing the police presence within the city. So they're willing to do something like that. They're willing to spend an extra $15 million a year on that, but they're not willing to spend $7 million a year giving cash payments to new time parents. Like, it would be a whole separate episode to get into like the theories around why giving money to certain programs actually like lowers crime rates, is actually better for the communities. We could go on a whole different podcast series about that. But the one thing that's probably undeniable without getting into all the theories and all the data is for a fact that in the areas that have the highest crime rate, it's also the areas that experience the most poverty. That's just an undeniable thing everywhere in this country. If we truly care about increasing outcomes in society, we have to make sure that people have their basic needs met. And the way that you have people have their basic needs met is by making sure that they're financially stable. Cash is everything in the society. And this was a really small gesture that the city of Baltimore could have put out. And they found a really kind of like nonsensical way to just find a way not to do it. You know, the one thing that this does remind me of, obviously, is like the child tax credit, something that was being floated around at the beginning of the Biden administration. When it was in effect, it cut childhood poverty in half. So we've seen these programs directly make sense. They've directly done what you would hope that they would do, which was to be just expanding outcomes for people who are struggling, who are experiencing poverty. And kind of adjacent to that, the city of Denver in Colorado, they recently gave people experiencing homelessness, $1,000 a month. And this is a little bit of a different situation, but it's kind of a also, and it's an analogous one. When people who are, who need some supports are given supports, it's amazing what kind of outcomes they have. In this Denver study, for instance, these people who were given $1,000 a month, these unhoused people, after a year, nearly half the participants said that they had either current or permanent housing. Their housing, their quality of life was going up dramatically. People were able to get the basic necessities that they needed. It was just an all-around successful program. And the people who did the program, this was actually another article in CBS. They said that their analysis showed that the program participation is tied to cost savings in public spending. This means a large reductions in uses of public services that includes emergency room visits, hospitals, and jail stays. Again, just coming back to it, when people have their basic needs met, society as a whole functions better. So the fact that, again, coming back to Baltimore here, that they couldn't find a way through cutting funding somewhere else or raising taxes somewhere else to fund this program is honestly a disgrace. It's absolutely a disgrace. And I hope that where Baltimore failed, maybe other cities around the country will try to succeed, because these types of programs are programs worth investing in. I truly believe that. Thank you to everyone for watching this video. We took obviously a little bit of a hiatus off of independent thought for the last few months. So for those of you who are reoccurring, watchers, listeners of the show, I really want to thank you for coming back and sticking with us. We are just kind of getting back into the swing of things now, doing some of these solo episodes. We're also going to be doing some duos, trios, maybe some panels, obviously some interviews. That's what I've always loved to do over the years with this program. So just, thanks again for being with us. And there's a lot more to come. And so make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss what we have coming up next.